Hey everybody, Pastor Matthew here, Zion Lutheran Church. I hope you're doing well today, and I'm hoping you're seeing this because someone I know shared it with you, and you opened it, so thank you for that. But even if you are someone that I know, hello, it's good to see you, and I'm glad that you're here. And really, what I wanted to do is just take a couple minutes to really kind of get into kind of the behind the scenes, if you want to say it, of our Holy Week services. And so we start our Holy Week really this weekend with what we call Palm Sunday. And I'm hoping maybe well, I'm not hoping you're wondering, but maybe you are wondering, what is Palm Sunday? And well, maybe a lot of us kind of wonder that. In the realm of the Holy Week services, maybe that one tends to get kind of overshadowed by Easter or even Good Friday or Maundy, Thursday, and we tend maybe to prioritize that weekend instead of this one. So what's really important about coming to worship this weekend on Palm Sunday? Because there are some intricacies to it, some things that kind of lead us into what we're going to experience in the week ahead. So, really, what I wanted to do, like I said, just take a couple minutes and tell you about Palm Sunday worship and where it comes from and what we're going to be doing and how it leads us into this week. So, really, the Palm Sunday story begins in the Gospels. Actually, well, it begins not on Palm Sunday, but well before it, on the Mount of Transfiguration. We read this story in worship the Sunday before Lent, which was almost 40 days ago, not counting the Sundays. It's that last Sunday before Lent starts. And on that mountain, Jesus is transfigured and he becomes very bright, white light. Really, you can't even describe it. And while Jesus was there, his couple of his disciples were there, and they were watching this whole thing. And a cloud descended upon them, and from that cloud came the voice of God the Father, who said, "This is my beloved Son, my chosen one. Listen to him." And then after that, the cloud was gone. Moses and Elijah, who happened to be there too, they were gone, and all they saw was Jesus. Not even bright light Jesus, but just Jesus as they knew him. And so, if there was any confirmation of the person that they were to follow in this case, I think they just had it. And so now they're going to follow Jesus. And basically, from this moment, we understand that Jesus kind of sets his face toward Jerusalem. And he's going to go there to establish himself as king, but perhaps not the kind of king we're thinking about. So, fast forward to through these 40 days to where we're getting to now, Palm Sunday. And on that day, we're getting ready to enter Jerusalem. And so we start the story a little bit outside of Jerusalem. Jesus is with his disciples, and he sends a couple of his disciples on ahead to a neighboring village. And they're going to go there to untie a donkey, or maybe the foal of a donkey, depending on the gospel version that you're reading. But anyway, they go and they find a donkey there, just as Jesus said they would. And they untie it. They tell the owner that the Lord needs it and that it shall be returned. And they bring it to Jesus, and he gets on it, and off they go to Jerusalem. And so they're going to Jerusalem, and there's a lot of people because Jesus has gathered a great following by this point, and he rides through the sea of people on the road into Jerusalem as they are shouting, "Hosanna," which means "save us," or "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord." We get those words from Psalm 118. And while they're doing this, they're laying their cloaks on the ground. They're laying palm branches on the ground and waving them in the air as they say these words to him as he goes by. And then he rides off into Jerusalem, and we enter into this Holy Week, and things are going to change. And we kind of get a little foreshadowing on Palm Sunday about this because, I mean, we might even think of it first as Jesus asks for a donkey to ride on. This animal is not exactly an animal that a king would ride on. A donkey is more of a cargo animal, a cargo vessel. If we were to think of it like, well, I like airplanes, okay? So perhaps follow me with this one. Perhaps the donkey is kind of like the FedEx to your American or Delta or United Airlines, something like that, right? When you fly somewhere, you're probably going to end up on a passenger aircraft, and Jesus ends up riding basically in the back of a cargo freighter. So that's kind of what we see when we understand the donkey in the Palm Sunday story. Jesus is riding on a cargo animal. And so maybe that makes us wonder, okay, why is he doing this? Why would a king ride on such an animal like this? if he's going to be a king, that's not an animal you would ride on. But anyway, so the story goes on, and Jesus goes into Jerusalem. And then as we get into Holy Week, we're going to see that, okay, maybe he's not the king we're thinking of. And that brings me to these shouts and these cheers that the people are giving off as he's riding in. Hosanna, save us. How were they saying that? Of course, they knew they had been following Jesus, perhaps, or knew of his popularity, and they figured he was a guy that they really wanted to follow, and so they did, and they knew that he was going to be the one to save them, but what was he going to be saving them from? A lot of the Jews at this point were oppressed by the Roman Empire, who had really kind of taken over in Jerusalem, and they really wanted their religion back, they wanted their culture back, and they really thought that Jesus was going to be the one that was going to bring that to them. And so when they were shouting Hosanna, maybe, yes, they were shouting for the right reasons, but maybe they were also shouting because they wanted political revolution. And I think of these couple things, the donkey in particular, and then these shouts of Hosanna, and wondering what are we asking Jesus to save us from? And I think those parts of the story really kind of mimic our entrance into Palm Sunday, because we certainly know as Christians that we want Jesus, and we want Jesus to be the one to save us, and he is the one that saves us, but perhaps he's not always saving us from those things that we kind of want him to save us from. The kind of revolution that we want him to bring may not be the one that he has actually brought. And so it kind of brings us to dwell and look within ourselves as we think about, well, what are we doing as we go into this Holy Week? And so that really kind of starts us off as we get into these couple days ahead of us. And really, as I think about our worship here at Zion, which really I'd love for you to be a part of, as we get into worship here at Zion on Palm Sunday, we have the opportunity to reenact a little bit of what happened on that Palm Sunday as we sing a well-known hymn to many of us that go here, and we call that hymn All Glory, Laud, and Honor. It's a hymn we typically sing on Palm Sunday, and as we sing that hymn, we're actually going to be taking on these palm branches that I have here. You can see these. These are just kind of representations of perhaps what the people may have been waving in the air as they were watching Jesus go by. Maybe it's what they put on the ground as the donkey would step over it, saying that, well, Jesus was holy, he was royalty, and so they would put the palm branches on the ground so that the donkey wouldn't have to step on the dirt or the mud, kind of honoring and praising Jesus for what he was about to do. And so we get to reenact that. We'll get a palm branch to take with us in worship, and we'll get to take it home. I know people that like to make crosses out of those, and I could certainly perhaps give a tutorial on how to do that too. But we also kind of dress up our sanctuary a little bit as we get into Palm Sunday weekend. I'll show you as I turn around here. We kind of dress our altar in some greenery. You'll see we have some palm tree bushes kind of in the back there. I don't want to go back there, but you can kind of see them there. But just kind of helps us to commemorate and celebrate this day as we get ready to get into this time of Holy Week. And so, yes, for the next couple days, I hope to have the opportunity to share some of the Holy Week services with you, kind of go through some of those behind-the-scene things on what you might see, what you might hear or experience, and really why we're doing it. Because really this is, well, it's Holy Week. It is what I would consider to be the holiest time of the year. It really describes for us Christians why exactly we're here. If we kind of put these services aside, do we really understand what it is that we're doing as Christians and why we follow Jesus in the first place? Because this is the week in which we follow Jesus from Palm Sunday to the cross, into the grave, and then on Easter Sunday resurrected to new life again. And that's the promise and the hope that we have as we go forward from here. And so with that, I'll kind of finish off here. I'm coming up on 10 minutes now, but I'd love to encourage you to come out to our Holy Week services starting this weekend. We have a Palm Sunday services that begin, well, tonight on Saturday. We have a service at 5 o'clock coming up here shortly. And then tomorrow morning, Palm Sunday morning, we'll have a service at 9 a.m., And then as we go into Holy Week, we'll have some services as well that I invite you to. We have Maundy Thursday, which I'll tell you a little bit about later in the week. That service on Thursday at 7 o'clock in the evening, followed by our Good Friday service the next day at 7 p.m. on Friday. And I'll tell you why we call it good on Good Friday, even though it's the day that we witness Jesus being crucified and put into the tomb. But then on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, Resurrection Day, we will gather here for worship at 8 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. And so I encourage you to join us for that. But also, that Saturday, April 19th at 10 a.m., we're actually going to be meeting in South Park for some time in the park, a short walk around as we kind of make some stops along the way to remember those parts of Jesus' passion story to the cross, to the grave, and then, of course, risen once again on Easter Sunday. So there's information on our website, and I encourage you to take a look at that and consider joining us out at South Park next Saturday morning. But continue to look for some more videos over the next couple days as we kind of take a backdoor look into our Holy Week services. And, of course, I encourage you to come and worship with us. And if you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to answer them or definitely help you talk through them. But for now, blessings to you this weekend, God's peace to you, and I hope and I look forward to seeing you sometime in the very near future. God's peace.